Jennifer here. Welcome to the Daily Connoisseur. Today I am so thrilled. I have a very special guest that I am interviewing today, and it is the beautiful Jamie Cat Callan. She is the best-selling author of, what, 4 books now? Is this your fourth that just came out?
This is 4.
Yes, and the author of the upcoming book Parisian Charm School. And she is joining us today here on the Daily Connoisseur, and I'm so excited to interview Jamie. So welcome to the channel.
Thank you, Jennifer. I am so thrilled and honored to be here and to finally meet you.
Yes, I know. We were just saying, we just met each other for the first time on Skype, and I thought, you know what, wait, I have to record this because this is so neat. You know, because we're
So I
fans.
show them your book? Should I show them what I showed you? Yay! I got the first book.
The first self-published edition of Lessons from Madame Chic. So that means you're a super fan.
I am. I'm a super fan. Yes.
Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, it's such an honor to talk to you too. And I know that we have a lot of the same readership, you know, because we write about similar topics. So a lot of the people who've read my books have also read your books and vice versa. So I think a lot of people will be excited to see this interview.
Yes, yeah. I think we do have so much in common. It's amazing. And yet we're also very different. I think
Yes.
I'm probably your mother's age. And so we're alike, and yet there's a
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah, I think we're kindred spirits for sure. Yeah, we are.
Absolutely.
And it's so funny because when I read your books too, I think we both capture a different essence of the French culture. You know, there's like a
Yes.
difference. There is in between, you know, what I write about and what you write about. And so anyway, but before we get into everything, Jamie's new book is called Parisian Charm School. And she sent me this advanced copy. And we're filming this in December, but you'll see this video in January. And the book is already out when you see this video. So
January 2nd.
January 2nd, yeah. And so by the time this video goes up, it'll already be out. And so congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations on this new book.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm,
So
I'm just very pleased with this new book.
can you tell us about it in a few sentences? What is it about? I mean,
Well, it's about I have 3 books so far on French women and their secrets. French women don't sleep alone, Bonjour Happiness, Ooh La La. But even after talking with women all over the country, there is still this question like, okay, yeah, French women are so mysterious and elegant and confident, but where does that come from? And so with this book, I went back and I interviewed a lot of women to get to the real core of this mystery and confidence. And it's about charm, really.
yeah, and I love it. And, you know, obviously she's given me the book, so I'm actually not finished with it yet. I'm like working my way through it, and that's what I love. And so basically with my books, the Madame Chic books, I kind of have a case study of one family, or 2 families really, but mainly one family, very traditional, one woman, Madame Chic, and what she did. And a little bit of observations of Parisian life. But what I also like about your books and what they bring something different to the table, and that you have many different mentors, many different women that you interview, and they're all very different in everything. So that's what I like.
Yes.
I feel like we both cover all bases here.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. We should go on the road with
I
this.
know. A tour.
Because we cover all the French women together, and I love that you do have a very different take on things, and I feel that I mean, I just love your blog so much,
Oh, thank
and
you.
I've learned so much from you. I wish in some ways I could time travel to when my daughter was little and I was in the middle of, school and homework, and I could just get all your lessons. I would be a different person.
That's so
But
funny.
still, even now, I feel I learned so much. So thank you.
Oh gosh, thank you. Yeah, this is it's exciting to just be talking about this. So, can you tell us your background? How did you become a writer, and how did all of this happen for you?
All right. Well, I have been writing, since I was a little girl. I majored in literature at college, but I had a concentration in poetry.
Mm,
So I wrote a lot of poetry. So I have this whole background as a poet in the 70s. And then
Wow.
in the 80s, you probably don't know about this, but I wrote young adult novels.
Oh, you did.
So
Oh, wow. I
yes,
didn't know that.
I did in I took my first. I wrote three young adult novels. This is the first one. It came out Over the Hill at 14.
Wow. Over the Hill at 14. What a great title.
Um, this was during the early 80s when Brooke Shields
Mm.
was on the cover of Time magazine. You're, I don't know if you remember, you probably don't remember
Yeah.
this,
I was
but
born in
anyway,
1980, so.
okay, all right, so you don't remember this, but it was like a big scandal. Brooke Shields with, her Calvin Kleins, and anyway, so the book is kind of based on her a little bit, and then
Okay.
I wrote some others. So I had a big career in the 80s.
Wow.
Um, yeah, yeah, and then I got married. I had a child. I went to film school. I went to UCLA.
Oh, wow. I went
So,
to USC, so we are.
oh, there you go.
We're not enemies. We're competitors. No, I'm trying to think. What's
Right.
the
I'm
word?
paid.
Not enemies. We're what's I can't think.
I don't know. I think that has to do with
We're
football.
rivals. We're rivals. We're rivals.
Rivals. I mean, yeah, I was in the screenwriting program. So you're right. There was a little bit of rivalry with the
Okay.
screenwriting program. Anyway, that was the late 80s, and I worked at Paramount Pictures. I worked for Meg Ryan. I was her
Wow.
assistant.
Wow.
Yeah. She was very nice,
Oh,
by the
good.
way.
That's good to know. I always loved
People
her.
are always saying, "Oh, was she really nice?" She's lovely. She's
Yeah.
lovely to me.
I've seen her a lot because, I used to live in Santa Monica and I always saw her in Santa Monica, by the way. Yeah,
Oh,
she would be
and was
eating
she
on
nice
lunch.
to you?
I didn't talk to her. I just
Oh,
saw her.
you,
I saw a
you
lot of
should have
famous people
introduced
everywhere.
yourself because she's a Francophile.
Oh, she is? Maybe she's read our
Totally.
books. Well, does she know about your books? Have you sent them to her?
She knows about them, and but I haven't seen her in a long
Yeah.
time. Um, After Los Angeles, this is funny. Well, first of all, we're both from Connecticut originally, me and Meg
Oh,
Ryan,
wow.
and
Okay.
then I got married in 2005 and followed my husband to Cape Cod, where he's a scientist in Woods Hole. Meg Ryan bought a house in Martha's Vineyard.
Oh,
So
wow.
she followed me, really.
Yeah, she was following you that whole time.
Exactly. So, and anyway, now I believe she's in New York, but we don't keep in touch. She's
Yeah,
too famous.
right.
So
That's a cool
anyway,
story.
I went on. I did the Writer's Toolbox. Do you know that?
I don't.
All right, so I'm going to show you a little more show and tell, and then I promise I'll stop. This is the Writer's Toolbox. So it's writing
Oh,
games.
okay.
Yeah,
That's
so
so
they're just
neat.
like
You have
fun.
such a varied career. That's so
I know. I have a checkered past
in a good way.
in a good way. Yes.
Oh, that's great.
So, yeah, so this is all a very roundabout way to answer your question. How did I get started writing? That's just what I
You
do.
always have been.
Yes.
That's great. Oh, I love it. Okay, and so you kind of touched on this a bit, but I also wanted to talk about, and actually you did answer this already, why you wrote Parisian Charm School and everything. And, I think that my third book, Polish Your Poise with Madame Chic, has a little, it also goes into that as well, kind of defining or going to the core of that je ne sais quoi. And I love
Yes.
that, again, you touch on something different. So you perceive that it is about the charm, like it really is about charm and being charming. And how do
Yeah.
we define
Yeah.
charming and everything? And with me, I kind of go into the different direction of that it's about poise, and I think poise and charm are definitely linked together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, would you say that?
Absolutely. For me, it's I'm really inspired by my grandmother. My grandmother was French
Yes.
American. And my grandparents did not have a lot of money. They lived on a little farm, and she sewed all of my mother's clothing, all her
Oh,
dresses. But I just have these really vivid memories of her arriving at our home in Stamford, Connecticut, and this is in the early 60s. And first of all, my grandfather would wash the car just for the, every Saturday, just for Sunday. So it was a shiny black car. And she would step out, and everybody in the neighborhood would come around to see my grandmother. Like, she was the Queen of England. She had always wore, a beautiful dress and scarf and pearls, nylons, a hat. And just by the fact that she was so elegant and poised, exactly poised, that made her, very, very beloved. And it was charming. Everything she did was charming. And the thing about charm and about poise, it doesn't cost a penny. It's available to everyone.
Everyone can have, absolutely.
Yes, you could, just by saying please and thank you and getting into conversations, and I think being self-aware can really make your life so much more pleasurable.
Yes.
And it makes the world a really nice place.
I couldn't agree more. And a lot of people think, oh, it involves money. Like, you have to have expensive clothes and accessories, and you have to go to like fancy places. No, anybody can do it. And you see people, I have so many people, like a lot of missionaries watch my channel, and they live in these remote areas, and they say the people here have so much poise and dignity and class, and they don't have any money. They're poor, considering compared to how we live. And so it doesn't cost anything, and it is available for everybody. It's just a decision that you make.
Exactly.
Because nobody's really born with that,
Right.
And you have
it's
to
just a matter
to
of
do it.
Yes, and appreciating little things. When I was living on the Cape, I took French lessons with Madame M.
Yes, I love that
I
in the
got out to
introduction.
feel her full name, but she grew up in southern France during the war, and they were really starving, and it was occupied, and it was a terrible time to be in her village. And so she has this wonderful sensibility where we would have tea, the yogi tea with the little messages, and she would, first of all, she'd bring out the little tea bags. This is just some tea, but it was the most exciting thing. She'd put them in a little dish. Then we would mix them up, so we didn't know who was getting which one. It was this game. And then we'd finally open them up, to put them in our boiling water and read the little messages in English and then translate. But these little tea tags added to our conversation, and it was just so lovely. And everything she did was sort of like that, where it was the simplest thing in the world, but it became so joyful, because I think it's about being appreciative of what's in front of you.
Yes. I think that's such a huge aspect of French culture, is making the mundane special. And just, I think in America, we're very consumer driven. What's the next big thing and what's exciting for us? But it's so enriching to take small things you don't even think of. Like, if you're pouring your tea, it's just rote. You just do it every day. But to make it so special allows us to appreciate that, rather than what's the next thing? I need this. I need that to make my tea time amazing. It's just tea. Just enjoy it as it is. Yeah, I agree. I love that. Oh, that's a special story.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to look at my notes here because I had all these questions for you. Okay, so what is one surprising lifestyle difference, do you think, between French and American living? One surprising lifestyle difference you were surprised by.
All right. I think the most surprising lifestyle difference is that we eat out a lot, and I think this is for me personally too, because I've always struggled with my weight. What I realized was that when the French eat out, first of all, they eat out all together. They always have dinner in a group, and it's very festive, and it's very special. And it's expensive, so they don't dine out all that much. And when they do, it's a community, and also they don't, if you go into an American restaurant, people are walking in for lunch at 3 o'clock. Or, my French friends will say to me, I'm confused. Are they having lunch? It's 3 o'clock. Are they having lunch or are they having dinner? It's very weird.
Yeah.
But also, what I realized was they truly enjoy themselves, and they'll have the delicious desserts and the pastry and all of that when they're going out, and they're very careful at home. I'm the kind of person who in public, or I don't do this anymore, but in public I might be really extra good. I'll just have that salad dressing on the side. And then I get home and I'm like, I'm really hungry. So I, no, honestly, I did
Yeah,
this for
I
a long
know.
time. And then I make up for it because nobody can see me.
Yeah, the behind closed doors situation.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So that it's one of the most important things I learned from the French, because if when you're in this moment where it's a special occasion, you really enjoy yourself and you take pleasure in the company of others,
Mm.
then there's no sense that you've been deprived,
Mm.
or you have to somehow go home and do some secret thing. It's really
Right.
about sharing the joy of everyday living with other people.
Mm. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and I found that they really do not eat at restaurants very often. The family I lived with probably, in the 6 months that I lived with them, they probably went to a restaurant twice.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
they cooked every day. So, but they
Yes.
definitely had dessert every day, every meal as well. So it was either
Absolutely.
dessert or cheese, and So, but it was just a little bit of it. It wasn't, overblown. I'm just
Right.
looking. I see a
But I think
package being delivered at my door. I hope nobody knocks right now. I'm like, who is that? Sorry.
well, it's
Um,
that time of year, isn't it?
oh yes.
Chilly
So
here on LaBelle Farm.
okay, so my next one was, this is good and it's so perfect because you and all the pictures I've ever seen of you, you look so beautiful and you're always wearing those beautiful colors that complement you. And you write about that in Parisian Charm School. So, what's your advice for women on how to choose the best colors for themselves?
Well, there, and I visited many stylists during my travels to, Paris and also all over
Yeah.
France. So, it's been a long journey because I love the color red.
Mm,
Ever since I was a little girl, I had a red jumper.
mm.
I used to wear it constantly, and my mother would get upset and say, we have to wash this jumper. And then one day the jumper disappeared.
Oh, I know what she did with
I
it. I do that with my kids too.
Where's
I don't know where it went.
that jumper?
Oh
I still think about it.
well. Oh.
Yeah, anyway, so I love the color red, but one of the stylists said to me, no, no, you must wear blue.
Mm.
So actually, this hat is very special to me because it's made from the woad plant, and I got this at a museum, an art museum. Actually, a woman who demonstrates to visual artists how the color blue came to France in the Middle Ages,
Mm.
and she actually will use these. They're these little leaves. They come from England originally, and they created the color blue out of the
Wow.
woad plant.
It
So
is a
it's
beautiful blue. It really is.
like
I
I
love it. And
just
it does look really good on you. And then you
think
have the red lipstick, so you're getting your red in, right?
yes, and I have my red scarf,
And
which
your
my
scarf.
daughter knit for me,
Oh, that's
and so
special.
it's meaningful. But I for Parisian Charm School, I went a little bit further in terms of colors because I think that all of us can say, oh, for my particular skin tone, I should be wearing these particular colors and I should avoid these other colors.
Hmm.
And I think that that's important for women to think about. But I also think, I did an interview with Valerie, and she loves orange. She's a Parisian girl, born and raised in Paris, and she owns a little shop on the left bank, and she's all about orange. And it was
It's such
really
a,
fascinating.
nobody wears orange, and orange is a beautiful color. It's
I
beautiful.
know,
My
I
husband
know.
wears a lot of orange. He likes orange t-shirts.
Yes. Yeah,
So,
I think I never liked orange that much until I met Valerie,
yeah.
and because she said to me, "Oh, it's a happy color."
Yes, it is
And
happy.
and she said red is a little too aggressive. And I never thought of it as being aggressive, but I could see what she meant about orange, and on her it's so charming. And also, the French approach color in terms of it's a kind of branding.
Yes.
So everything, not just what she wears is orange, but her shop is has a lot of orange in it. Her little boutique bags are orange. And if you think about it, there's the Hermes orange,
Right.
Tiffany blue.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of, it's a very simple way to stand out and yet it's subtle because it's like, no, this is my color.
Right.
Thought that was very interesting, and I think that women, it would really help women if they thought about when they pick up a color, they look at a color, does it resonate for them? Does it make their heart, jump a beat?
Yes.
And I think that's just as important as, skin tone and eye color and all of that.
I
It's
agree. I love that. And I think we both had someone tell us, your friend said, no, red is not good for you. And Madame Chic told me I was wearing, see, I have greenish eyes. And so I
You have
thought,
gorgeous eyes.
oh,
Oh my gosh.
thank you.
You
But I always thought that, any shade of green would be great and it'll bring out my eyes, So I have that funny story in Lessons from Madame Chic that I was wearing
right.
it was a spring green. It was like that kind, and I
Yeah.
don't even like spring green. I don't know why I know why I was wearing it. It was free and it was a gift and it was nice at the time for me. So anyway, but she just flat out one day when we were walking to the market just said, Jennifer, that color does not look good on you.
Wow.
And
But I
I'm like,
love that.
I didn't
Also,
even
I love
ask
that
her
about French
opinion.
women. They're so direct.
It was direct and very blunt. And a lot of people were horrified by that story. They're like, I can't believe she said that to you. But I didn't. I thought, I was glad she said that to me because
Yeah.
I thought, you know what, you're right. It made me look really sallow and it washed out my skin and I could still wear green. So now I wear olive green, I find is a great color for me. And
Yes.
hunter green, dark emerald greens, those are good for me.
Yes.
But for me, the
Yes.
light greens are not good. So
Yes.
is it true
And this
that
burgundy is beautiful on you.
I'm liking burgundy and I always wear dark blue. I feel comfortable in dark blue. So I probably could expand my horizons. Maybe I should try some orange this spring in honor
That would
of
be interesting.
see how it
Yeah.
goes. But I think I definitely feel very self-conscious when I'm wearing bright colors. I always have. I don't know, like and I love the color red too, but I had a red dress one time and I never wore it because I just felt like,
Oh,
boom, here I am, and I
right.
felt self-conscious about that.
Right. And I think you have to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
I think it's saying something. The other thing I think is interesting to think about when you're choosing color or even your style. I think it's really important to look at your ancestors. Look at your grandmother, your mother, your grandmother, your great grandmother, and your heritage, because that's part of your style DNA.
Absolutely.
And for me, I never understood why I have to resist like silver lame and feathers and like I have to like resist going the way of frou frou. But but I know where it comes from now because my grandmother, my grandfather, my whole family on that side, the French side, had a vaudeville troupe, and my
Oh,
mother was a little tap dancer,
how
like a little Shirley
interesting.
Temple. And so I think that somehow that got into my psyche. So I honor it, but I know, okay, little things, but I have to be careful not to go overboard. But I
Oh.
think that when we start to honor our our grandmothers, I'm all about grandmothers right now because I'm a new grandmother.
Oh,
And
congratulations.
thank you, little June. And
Oh.
she's 2 years old. But
Oh.
I feel I'm starting to, being a grandmother now, I'm starting to appreciate my own grandmother
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
what, the gifts that she gave to me. And I think that's where um, women can really find their style secrets. They can find their own DNA.
Yeah, and there's so much wisdom from grandmothers. You're going to make the best grandmother. Your granddaughter's so fortunate to have you as her grandmother.
Well,
How
I
fun.
love I love being a grandma.
Yeah.
It's so
Oh.
great.
It's so funny because I have young kids and my youngest is 18 months, so he's almost the same age as your grandchild. And it's funny. I love having kids. I love having them right now. But I always think, when I'm a grandparent, that's going to be awesome.
Yes,
Because you get to do
yes.
all the fun stuff and you don't have to do the hard
Yeah.
day to day.
Yeah, it is amazing because when I stayed with my daughter and her little family when June was born, and I remember in the nursery rocking her, and my daughter and son-in-law set up this nursery so beautifully, and it was all about Goodnight Moon, and
Oh.
my daughter's a visual artist, so it was like so adorable. But I thought back to, so I'm rocking the baby, the newborn baby, and I thought back to when my daughter was newborn. I was really struggling, and
Mm.
I didn't have, living in a studio apartment in
It's
Greenwich Village.
yeah, it's
But
different.
I thought, this is the answer to that question. The question was, will I always be struggling? This isn't easy. And then all these years later, over 30 years later, the answer is life is going to be wonderful, you'll see. And that
Yes.
and that initial struggle
Mm.
led to this wonderful moment with Goodnight Moon.
Yes. Oh, I know. And there's different seasons of life, and it's
Yes.
hard. When you first start. I found that too. When you first have children, the first two, that was hard for me. And I was writing books at the time too, and
I
everything.
mean, you're amazing. You're Superwoman. Oh my God. And you have a new baby.
Yeah,
Wow.
but I'm really enjoying the third baby. I'm able to just be like, you know what? I need to enjoy this because it goes by fast. And what I perceive as being hard, it's for me, it's like mental shift, a lot of prayer that helps because
Yes. Yes.
it's not that bad. It could be a lot worse. Like the heart, when I'm like, this is awful, I'm sleep deprived, it's not that bad. It really isn't that bad. And
No,
it's
no.
wonderful. So,
You're a lucky girl. You
oh,
are a lucky girl.
yeah. So, well, our interview is going a bit longer, so I just want to get back to these final last questions.
Okay.
And okay, oh, this is a bit of a controversial one, so I wanted to talk to you about this one.
Okay.
And okay, so you have a chapter in here called, let's see, which one is it? You know which one I'm talking about. It's Mistresses, Marriage, and Mystery.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and so you touch on, and this is something that I don't know whether or not it's true about French culture, but I think definitely outsiders view and perceive French culture to be more lenient on romance, shall I say? I'm
Yes.
like euphemizing it a bit, but on on cheating sometimes and infidelity and all of that stuff. And I don't know statistically if it's true, if that happens more in France than it does everywhere else in the world. But it could be from French cinema. It's a lot.
Oh,
It's a
right, right. They
theme in a
love
lot of
movies,
French
movies about
movies and
this.
French books and French art, and
Their
it's
favorite plot twist.
yes, it's always the plot twist, right? And so maybe that's where it comes from. So I'm not, if we have any French viewers watching, please don't be offended. But I'm just saying what the rest of the world perceives as maybe a bit that they view it differently over there. And in your
Right.
chapter, you write about why you think that is, like the history with the wars and everything, and the backdrop and everything like that. So I wanted to bring it up because that's something, obviously there's so much I love about French culture, but there's also things that I don't love about it. There's upsides, just like with any culture. And that was always something that bothered me. And it's funny because Madame Chic, it bothered her too. She knew that that people had that perception of France, and she and I had many conversations about it, where it bothered her, the blatantness of it all. So can you talk about that a little bit? Because you write about it in your book.
Yeah, I think the difference is, there's infidelity all over the world,
Yes.
and Americans have affairs.
Yes.
French have affairs.
Yeah.
It goes on. I think the difference is the French are a little bit more pragmatic about it. So it's not hidden as much. So they'll actually, it's just much more out in the open. But I don't think that the French are having more affairs than the Americans.
Yeah.
I really don't. But I
know,
think that we don't approve of it. We won't talk about it, but it does go on in both cultures.
Of course.
That said, when I talk to young French women, they will not tolerate infidelity, and they're very, if I found out my husband or boyfriend was cheating on me, it's over.
That's really comforting. That's good to know, and that's interesting.
That
the new generation is not accepting it.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
it's from the
I
older.
Thought that was so weird.
Oh no, it's like my mother and grandmother's generation. It was very hard in France. It was very difficult to get a divorce. It's still not as easy to get a divorce in France as it is in America. Therefore, because it's difficult to get a divorce, arrangements are made. But that's particularly of my mother, your grandmother's generation, and the generation before that. So I think we have this idea that, it's like the court of Versailles, and everybody's running around having, torrid affairs with each other. But that's not really the case, and certainly not in today's France.
Good. I love that. That makes me happy because I love that you interviewed a wide range of women about that, because I think, and it would be interesting. I love to just have the French women speak for themselves on this subject, because the world perceives it in a certain way, and they're all like this and they all accept this, and that's just simply not the truth. So I know that wasn't the truth for Madame Bohemian.
They don't want to be known for that.
No. Okay, good. I just wanted to ask you that question. And okay, so finally to close, because I hope YouTube lets me put this video on because it's over a half hour. It's such a juicy conversation. We'll have to
this time flew by.
We'll have to come back and do a part 2. But so just tell us really quickly, you live in New York now, about your life there, and you make apple cider with your husband?
Yes. We make we live on a farm. So, and I'm looking outside, it's just started to snow here.
Oh, wow, how beautiful.
So the farm was built in the 1820s. And by the Schumacher family, and it's 50 acres, and there's these gorgeous red barns. That's what I really fell in love with, these really very iconic American red barns. So we have chickens and turkeys and an enormous garden. We make our own jam, lots of different kinds of jam, raspberry, strawberry, blackberry. That's all the Christmas gifts this year. Everybody's getting jam.
Amazing.
We do the farmers market, and we make really my husband does this, the hard sparkling French apple cider. It's not really French, it's French inspired.
Got it. Okay. You live such an interesting life. Honestly, there's just all sorts of different facets, living on the farm and traveling to France and writing and having chickens. I mean, it's all like together. It's pretty cool.
Yes, we have fresh eggs every day.
Wow. Well,
yeah, I love it.
Such a pleasure to talk to you. So Jamie is being so generous, and she is giving away 5 signed copies of Parisian Charm School to 5 lucky winners on the Daily Connoisseur. So the giveaway is open worldwide, and I just can't believe this is so sweet. So go to my blog, dailyconnoisseur.com. I'll have all the details below, and you can enter the giveaway, and 5 lucky people will win a signed copy. So thank you so much, Jamie, for being on my channel. And I just feel like we have so much in common, and I would love to talk to you again. Will you be a guest again in the future?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Jennifer. I loved talking to you.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody for joining me today on the Daily Connoisseur, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.